Okay, let's go.
Okay, my name's David Cole and I'm interviewing Marty Coombe, so welcome Marty Coombe. Thank you for giving your time to help my investigation into the ways in which the use of Google Earth enhances the learning experience within the classroom. And I would like to invite you briefly to describe your position and background in using technology in the classroom.
My role at Scotch is as a classroom teacher in the middle school, and for point 4 of my time, and point 6 of it is in IT curriculum support, which means working with all the different faculties across the school and helping their teachers integrate technology into the curriculum.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so I've got some more specific questions to use in the program of Google Earth. Can you describe how you've used it in your classroom?
With the Year 7 SOS program, we've used it in a number of ways. Recently, we've just been on a tour of Canberra as part of a civics and citizenship program, and prior to our visit, we used Google Earth to look at the locations that we were going to and to give the students an understanding of how well designed Canberra was, but also to help them navigate while we were there. So we've used it. It was just an introductory activity to Google Earth. Okay. We also used it earlier in the year when students were doing an introduction to themselves at the beginning of the year. They had to use Google Earth to describe where they live. So they described it, first of all, from a big picture, that they lived in the Southern Hemisphere, so they took a picture of the Southern Hemisphere, and then they went through the various locations. So they then went to in the continent of Australia, in the state of South Australia, in the city of Adelaide, in the suburb of, and they went through all those different layers of Google Earth right down to their backyard. Okay. So they used it as a visual explanation that they had to narrate as well.
Yeah, I seem to recall some of the presentations whilst I was on observation in first term. There was some really interesting variations on the use, so that was excellent. Secondly, I'm keen to explore how you, as an experienced classroom practitioner, feel that Google Earth enhances the learning experience for your students. What does it offer that is so special?
I guess it's an amazing resource, because for the example that I've just given you, you've got a three-dimensional view of something, an aerial view of something. For visual learners, is just fantastic. You can look at a map, you can look at a photograph of something, but to have, I guess, landed somewhere, just brings it to life. I'll leave it at that, I think.
Okay. Thirdly, would you say that this tool is more suited to one particular year group, or is it useful across a range of year levels?
A range of year levels, without a doubt. Something you can keep using from probably receptions all the way through, and you keep using throughout your life. It's an amazing tool.
And in a similar fashion to how you describe, just with a visual representation of...
Absolutely, yeah. It's so many of our students now are visual learners. It's a great tool for that, because, as I said, they're not going to read slabs of text. They're not going to decipher information diligently out of an atlas anymore. This is, in a way, the new atlas, or a component of the new digital atlas.
Excellent. Fourthly, have you come across any particular problems whilst using Google Earth? Are there any issues that you consider the teacher should perhaps reflect carefully on prior to incorporating it as a tool in their teaching?
Yeah, it's it hogs your bandwidth. So if you've got, for example, like at Scotch, where we've got all the students with their own laptops, if they're all trying to do it all at once, it's okay with one class. But if there were, say, 10 classes trying to do it simultaneously, I'm sure the network would struggle. It's also a good idea. There are a few technical settings that you need to make sure they're functional before you try and go into a class and work it. Okay. And always using technology guaranteed to fail. There'll be one or two students that, for some technical reason, it's not working. So, any resource like using like this have alternatives as well.
Okay, excellent. For someone who has just discovered this tool, can you recommend any further resources that they might find helpful in trying to make the most effective use of this?
That
come to mind?
One thing I do is that I have the tips turned on, so that every time you open it, it flashes up with the tip of the day, and I've learnt lots along just using that simple tool. But there's tutorials, there's direct links through to the tutorials from the help menu, and that's something I've used. But well, the Geography Teachers Association, I know has resources that they're developing, and I'm sure there's I know I've done a brief search on the internet for tools. Also, I think Atomic Learning have some tutorials as well.
Okay, excellent. Well, that concludes our interview today. So once again, thank you very much for your time. Your insightful responses have been most helpful, and I will certainly appreciate it, and certainly my viewers of this webpage. Thank you very much.
No worries.